salt.
So,
Okay. So when the other thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago for you have this pain syndrome.
correct.
And the pain syndrome can wreck a plan. So I like to check in on a couple of those things, that even though you might not have as much pain as you did the first week when we were trying to say, hey, let's change your diet and let's take away your food. We had you do something called a float.
Right.
And have you done one of those again or not? Just one? You did? Okay. Excellent. So when was the last one?
The day before Jen left, so that would have been Thursday. Yeah.
And could you see that it did any difference in the pain? Did that help your pain at all?
I'm not really, it did help my pain in my lower back. I would say that.
Okay.
My knee is just
bugger.
Good days and bad days, and yesterday was a bad day. So,
okay. Well, the reason I bring it up is that pain syndromes are they're tough. It's the psychology of what the pain does to people, switching things. I'm excited to see what your nerves are going to look like in 6 months, but it's between now and that 6-month time that you say, help, not push him too hard. We make little changes along the way. And then just that encouragement to say, your nerves will heal. This is a nourishment thing as well. And especially after the history that you shared last week of just having a lot of the, that lower testosterone, that lower energy, that mental, I can't wait to see what your world looks like in 6 months if we can keep you on this diet till then. So I touch in to say there's lots of other things we can do for pain syndromes. That float is kind of goofy. People say, does that really matter? I'm like, oh, it is an anti-inflammatory. It pulls that extra swelling out of knees and backs and just replaces it with magnesium. So that's really important for mental health, but it's really important for pain syndromes too. So go ahead.
So let me say, I get a lot of people asking, what is the float? And I know John and I, there's a spa next to us. There's a spa close to us, and it's called a float spa. And you should Google it. When this is over, Google it, because basically what it is it's this gigantic tub of Epsom salt bath, but it's got like tons of Epsom salt. And anybody
1,100 pounds, right?
Yes, and everybody who's living today is deficient in magnesium, and it is extremely important. So that's
So Epsom salt is magnesium. It is, that's what it's a magnesium salt. And they put it, they saturate the water. Like, I think the viscosity of the water feels like it's like squishy.
Yeah, it is.
It's so packed full of magnesium. And when you replace magnesium, it is an absolute that has to happen in the first couple of weeks of keto. But I contend anybody with mental health, meaning I just get sluggish, I can't focus, brain fog, or pain syndromes, we have to be magnesium heavy, meaning find an Epsom salt bath is great if you can do it in your own tub. Don't be cheap on the salt. Get 6 to 8 cups in this bathtub.
Yes,
but
yes.
the best answer is one of these floats where you hang out in that tub for an hour, or some of them it's an hour and a half. But that has got blood studies that said before the Epsom salt soaks and after, it improves the magnesium. Still other ways you can improve magnesium, but this is a very effective way that I contend is a big staple for anybody with the pain syndrome that's using a ketogenic diet or not using a ketogenic diet, but also just powerful how important that is. So I'm glad to hear you've done 2 of them. That's really good. If
we got a membership.
Oh yes, that's what I was going to say. If you can make it a routine until we get past these first 3 months, it sounds like a goofy thing to do. Like that, does it matter? Does it matter? I'm like, it matters. It matters. Try to keep that as a routine once a week, as a treat to yourself. That was what I did it with my kids on my birthday. So I think they're fun. I have boys and they're like, are we going to the spa, Mom? And I'm like, it's a float spa. And he's like, we're not going to be in the same tub, are we? And I'm like, you're a little old. When you're a baby.
Well, our 13-year-old liked it too. So.
Oh, it's great. And honestly, your teenagers are growing. Those bones, those neurons are all growing. And as parents, you can't get enough magnesium in your kids when they're growing. So this is a great little treat. Don't tell them about the magnesium. Just tell them it's fun and it's a treat. And as a parent,
they like the part you're so buoyant in there. It's impossible for you to, because of the magnesium level, it's impossible for you to think. So it's if anything, it's very relaxing. Extremely, which is good.
Well, so, we talked on one of the first or second interviews about getting some magnesium in your system, and whether that's in an oral supplement, or my favorite is that relax the system, brain, and body when one of those magnesium floats.
Yep.
If you look at the other thing that couples the sleep cycle, the sleep training, it is a timeout session. And I do a couple of workshops. One of them is Brains of Addiction, and it's meant for officers. I've given it to whole police forces. Actually, I gave it to a prison system once. And again, we were teaching, like, most of the folks that come into these places have these addictions. What can we do to help their brains reset when your resources are low? But the key is, as they've come off of something their brain is addicted to, and I don't know whether alcohol was an addictive process when we started this or not, but you were headed there for sure. I see the pattern happen over and over and over again, and I don't care whether they file it that way. I just say, look at the road that you're headed for. If you want that to change, we need to get your brain to slow down and to take in a calmness, and that's a practice skill as well. So one of those things with the magnesium salts is it really helps kill several objectives when I'm helping patients. Number one, they're in their birthday suit, they're all alone in the darkness. They got a time out, that's a calm moment. And, I've done these several times too, and I'm a pretty high energy person. That the first time I'm like, it was amazing. But I've learned that if I can keep that in my schedule, even just a couple times a month, I'd love to do it every week, but I don't have that figured out yet. What it's doing is that practice time of shut everything off and be calm. So that is something that, high energy people, especially with an intense job of always being alert as an officer, it can be difficult for you to put off the timeout zone. But what you're also getting is a hearty dose of magnesium. And, why are Epsom Salt Baths so, they've made it through the test of times. Our grandmother says, oh, put your feet in those Epsom Salt Baths. My grandmother did that. And you go back and read stories about, like, Little Home on the Prairie, and Epsom salts fixed everything. Well, what they do is they reduce swelling. That high salt bath water pulls that fluid out of your knee. And there's actual evidence about this. This isn't a kind of a wives' tale. It really is true. You also get the magnesium replacement. And when I'm training your brain to sleep better, this medication will be something you need less and less. But as soon as I pull that medication away, if you haven't really worked on some of these other skills, habits return. If you take that and extrapolate it to some of my addiction patients, that they've been using substances to deal with stress or life, or sometimes even deal with positives, is how they. But we get them clean and they're doing great. But if they don't acquire new skills about how to celebrate or get through stress, then we end up back in the same boat. So I tell you all that to say, if you can nudge yourself into that Epsom salt bath, it'll be great for the knee. It's a really good practice timeout, even once in the next week, twice if you can. But the better you get at just owning that dark, quiet zone, the less we'll need this medicine, and the faster we'll get you back to doing your life.
Well, definitely, we are members.
Please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Stay tuned.